Today, we're going to be diving into some fun material. I think this is one of the core tenets of this business, and it historically has been something that I've been passionate about. And frankly, guys, like, it is one of the biggest bottlenecks, I think, in everybody's business is just getting sellers back on the dang phone. And so, in your business, you call, people don't pick up. They give you a verbal, they ghost you, they come in and tell you, yeah, they're interested in an offer, and you can't get them back on the phone. So today we're really going to break down my top 4 thoughts when it comes to getting people back on the phone. Sound good? So as we're getting here, guys, I am curious, if you're here with us live, go ahead and let me know in the chat right now. I'd love to see who is on here live with us. I'd love to see who's on here live with us. Sweet. Okay. And if you stay till the end, we've got a fun little surprise for folks as well. So should be fun. All right, let's go ahead and get kicked off. So again, big problem here. Folks can't get people back on the phone. Whether it's land, whether it's messy title, doesn't matter. It's the same thing, right? And so I'm going to break down these 4 pieces here that we use to get sellers back on the phone extremely consistently. And you can use the exact same thing, so you can do so too. All right. So to start, we're going to talk about how to be proactive so you can't get ghosted. And then we'll talk about how we're going to be reactive in the event that you do get ghosted. All right. So first, proactive, guys, set up good sales process. Okay. So that's big bullet point number 1 is just set up good sales process. If some of you are newer here, you probably don't even know what sales process means, right? What I mean by sales process is how are we doing things after we get a yes to make sure we actually get a contract signed. Okay. So what does that look like in your business? I'm on the phone. I isolate an objection. Hey, Chris, just so I understand, if there's, if we can get you $90,000 for your property, there's nothing stopping us from working together here. And Chris would say, no, we're good to go. I'd say, okay, great. What I would do then is walk him through a purchase agreement live. Okay. So that's the first sub point of a good sales process, guys, is getting your purchase agreement signed live. What's crazy is some of you have heard me talk about this for 2 years and you still don't do it. So it's one thing. I'm happy to talk to folks. What's up, Devin? I'm happy to, teach this stuff and give away as much information as possible. But the reality is, like, we need to implement and actually take action for it to happen. So if you're not doing this already, I would highly encourage you want to shorten the timeline between when they're in the emotional state and say yes through when they sign the agreement. The longer that time goes on, the more they've got time to do one of the 3 things that changes a seller's headset. Okay. So think about this, guys. When I say this, 3 things, you're thinking about something different before and after every single one of those 3 things. And they are eating, sleeping, and pooping. Okay. So I want to limit the amount of times my seller can do those 3 activities, or else, frankly, they are going to be thinking about something different, and the odds of them signing RPA go down and down and down. Okay, so get the agreement signed live. If you don't have the infrastructure set up for it, talk to your team. Use DocuSign, Zapier. We use Gavel.io to spin up some agreements really quickly, and that way you're able to spin up a purchase agreement in 60 seconds. While you're on the phone, you can ask the seller, hey, can you just give me a quick 60-second hold? I want to chat with my team, make sure I've got the final approval. Are you good to hold for 60 seconds? Most people can hold for 60 seconds. You just mute them and you spin up the PA. Then you get them back on the horn. Hey, John, I've got great news. Remind me, you did say you were near your computer. Could you go ahead and open that up for me real quick? Boom. Now we're in the sale, right? Did you see the email hit your desk? You have an email from DocuSign. Okay, could you do me a favor and go ahead and click open for me? First question for you, is your name spelled correctly up at the top? Learned that one from one of our coaches, Nick Staley. And it's such an easy way to start the process because people love their names, right? We know that from How to Win Friends and Influence People. But it doesn't feel like an aggressive ask when we start there. So as we get in, we just start with the name and then boom, we just keep walking them through the agreement to get them to the point, right? Shoot. And I did just see, let's see. I see that some people are struggling to see the live here. Gonna see what we can do to get that going. I'm not sure what the gap is there. But we're going to keep going here because I know I see about half dozen of you on here. So for starters, when it comes to sales process, you start with the name and you just keep going through it line by line. Okay. After that, so let's say somebody can't sign the agreement live, right? Let's say we've not been able to be proactive, set up the agreement live. Next up is, guys, just like set up an appointment. If you don't have the infrastructure or you can't do it right now, say, hey, no problem. Typically our process here, John, is in about 30 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and send over the agreement. We're just going to walk through it together. You're still going to be home in 30 minutes. Don't make it a big deal. Use third-party stories, right? Hey, typically this is what we're going to do. And you go from there. So essentially, what we're able to do is set an expectation that we can get back on the phone. Versus if you just try to call them back as soon as you get the PA or you send it out into the ether, if they have any questions or any thoughts about something they don't like in the agreement, they very easily could avoid it, not pick up your phone. And that's what we see a lot of times is sellers avoid us because there's something uncomfortable in the agreement. And instead of asking us, or maybe they feel stupid, or maybe they've got an action item, they just straight up will avoid us. And so, yeah, that's piece number 2 is go ahead and set up those appointments proactively. And then number 3 is if there's an objection and you can't go through an agreement that day, if you get an objection, like I need to talk to a partner, spouse, lawyer, whatever, set up an appointment for the next call, right? So same thing, we're setting up an appointment, we're setting expectations, the odds of them coming are higher. A really good question as you're setting appointments too to ask is like, hey, is there any reason that you wouldn't be able to jump on that appointment? Okay, hey, could you just promise me that if for whatever reason you can't jump on, then you'll just shoot me a text and let me know and we can reschedule. That way, we are able to, I use that as a promise close is what I call it. And essentially it allows us to set an expectation. The sellers, like when they promise, it feels like you're an elementary schooler again, where it's like, yeah, I pinky promise that I'm going to do this thing. So that is just a quick little tidbit on proactively setting it up. Next, I'm going to talk about, hey, look, a bunch of you are already ghosted. So what are we going to do to reactively get our sellers back on the phones, right? First thing I want to do is increase my pickup rates. What are things I can do to get people to just pick up, right? So bullet point number 1, proactively set up good sales process. Bullet point number 2, increase pickup rates, okay? And guys, I want to warn you, like we're actually setting up a really fun graphic for this. Stay till the end and I'll announce it. But if you're tuned in live already, if you'll just comment the word ghosted, what my team will do is when we finish this graphic, we'll reach out to you and share it with you. So we'll have kind of these 4 points bulleted and make it real easy for you to digest. But increase pickup rates. You're going to hear me talk about something I've talked about 1,000 times before. Double, triple dial, guys. I know it's fundamental, but man, I can't tell you the amount of times I've talked to an investor and they're like, Ajay, I still haven't implemented the double dial. And I'm like, implemented? You just need to hit the call button again, man. You're just lazy, right? I know what you're thinking. A lot of you get scared and uncomfortable when it comes time to hit that call button again. It's uncomfortable, right? You're scared. What if they get mad at me? My favorite sales and leadership advice in the world is it's only a big deal if you make it a big deal. Okay. So what that means is don't overthink it. If people freak out, just like go with the flow. If they're like, oh my God, why are you calling so much? Hey, John, just giving you a buzz about the 5 acre. I know we were chatting last week, blah, blah, blah. Like you just go with the flow and it's only a big deal if you make it a big deal. Okay. If you're not getting a bunch of pickups, next I would try for check if your numbers are spam. So the way that we do that is every couple of weeks, we'll just call our personal numbers from OpenPhone or whatever phone system you guys are using. So use your OpenPhone number, call your personal line. If it comes up as spam risk, I guarantee people aren't picking up the phone because of that. So if you're getting ghosted, especially from sellers, like in the handoff from a text or a cold call lead, well, it's popping up as spam risk, right? So of course people aren't excited to pick up that phone number. Ways around that, register with the carriers. If you're in Land Closures Academy, we have an SOP to register with carriers. Feel free to just drop that in the chat and I'm always happy to redrop it. Number 2 is I heard about this service a couple of my buddies use called Number Verifier. So we're actually not on it yet, but because we're switching over and porting our numbers to a new provider right now. We're moving from OpenPhone to smartphone. I've been hearing some weird stuff in the acquisition from Quo that's making it a little weird. But anyways, Number verifier is a way where it helps clean your phone numbers regularly, so the odds of you getting marked as spam risk go down substantially. Costs, I think, like $150 a month or something. It's pretty insignificant, but surprise, surprise, when you're not marked as spam, your answer rates go up. Okay. Number three on increasing pickup rates is local area codes. Now, look, obviously, the more local, the better. There are services out there that are like add-ons and stuff that you can use so that you have a local area code wherever you're calling them. I don't have any of those offhand, but I know they exist. Quick Google or ChatGPT search can probably help you find some. Or if you just market in big areas, pick phone numbers from the major metros. So like if you're marketing all over Georgia, if you pick Atlanta, you'll probably be okay. If you're all over Texas, pick one of the major MSAs and you'll probably be okay, right? And your answer rates do go up. But if you're calling, Michigan residents from a Florida area code, like you'll get a question a lot of times of just like why is this person calling me, right? So anyways, all that to say, local area codes will help people get picked up more. So that's point number two, right? We've got proactively set up good sales process. We've got increased pickup rates. Do those two things alone, you'll get way more contracts signed, way more people on the phone. I got two more good ones for you though. Okay. Number three is re-engagement text messages. Okay. And guys, if you have questions on this stuff throughout, go ahead and drop them in the chat. I am trying to monitor it and I'm happy to answer a little bit of Q&A towards the end. This will be a quicker lesson overall though. So re-engagement text messages. Here's what I mean by that. Send out texts that get people back on the horn. Okay. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, what do you mean? Right. So we love Chris Voss, whole little never split the difference. And essentially what we do is we play with words that like disrupt patterns, right? So Jeremy Lee Minor talks about pattern disruptors a lot. It's okay. How do we get this guy in a different headspace? It's not a pattern disruptor if you sound like everybody else. So when you're like, hey, John, just following up. Hey, John, when can we get back on the phone? Hey, John, hope everything's okay. Hey, John, how are the wife and kids? Hey, John, great weather we've been having. You sound like every other person in the world. Okay. So instead, what we do, I've got three little quips for you. I would recommend writing these down because they have anywhere between a 40 to 60% reply rate from what we've seen, especially if you use all of them. Okay. The first one is, have you given up? A little aggressive, okay? But just like, hey, Ajay, have you given up? If I see that text message, I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this, right? So that's always a fun one to get people back on the phone. Number two, have you given up on selling your property? So little much of the same, but very like Chris Vossian of like negative facing, pattern disruptor type wording. Number three, this one's a little out of pocket, guys, but it's congratulations on selling your property. I can't remember who I learned this one from, but I love it because it like freaks people out where they're like, I didn't sell my property, but they've responded. So now you can get them back on the phone. Okay. So that's a fun one. I learned this one from some clients I was working with. It's a little funny. If you're not funny, don't do it. But if you are, it's hilarious where this guy texted his lead and said, if I don't hear from you, I'm going to send a carrier pigeon. So it was a pretty funny one. It did get the guy back on the phone. So people look at it, they laugh. I've used it in follow-up, especially with like B2B vendors. Like I've had a couple buyer agents that have ghosted us and I use that and they get back on the phone. And then number five is getting, what's it called? Gifts. So little gifts that you can send. I know Alex Hormozy recently talked about the Kevin Hart one where he's like, what? So we use all kinds of gifts to get people back on the phone. They're fun. GIF. I don't know the correct pronunciation, but those are good. Have you guys ever used any gifts or any funny texts? Let me know in the comments if you got any good ones as well. So the last and final of the four that we use to stop getting ghosted, and this one does cost a little bit of money, but I just look at it as a marketing expense. Okay. So we've got three so far. We've got proactively set up good sales process, increase your pickup rates, re-engagement text messages. Our fourth and final one here is new forms of outreach. Okay. So the first one, and this like shouldn't come as a surprise, but it's call from a new phone number. So look, if they see your phone number and they've already like committed to short-term memory, they know who this is, or even worse, they've like saved you down and like really don't want to talk to you, well, then they're not going to pick up your phone. But if you call from a new phone number and you triple dial them and it's a local area code that doesn't have a spam risk, and you do that for a couple days, the odds of them picking up are very high, especially in the first like 3 or 4 dials. So just call from a new phone number. You'll probably get a pickup. And again, don't make it a big deal. You get on the phone and it's, hey, John, it's Ajay. Was reaching out. I know we were supposed to get on the phone last week, but it seems like we've have trouble getting a hold of each other. You got 5 to 10 minutes to chat, but look, you're on the phone, so they can't get away from you now, right? The next one within new outreach is one of my favorites. We've been doing a lot of it this year, a lot of it inspired by my buddy Josh Pierce, because he was running this company that had this as a fundamental philosophy. Taking a quick sip of water, guys. But it's send a physical gift. Okay, so we've done handwritten cards, we've done rip and strip envelopes. Those are fine. I like a little more touch if I can, though. Bouquet of flowers. Katie and Brian Damaris, they recently did a nut basket, so like dried nuts. Helped them close a deal they just bought for $750K. They're going to list it at 1.5 million. So that's pretty exciting for them. But physical nuts, we've done bouquets of flowers, bottles of wine. I've heard, if you know the prospects drink. We've done a lot of desserts. So DoorDash, Tiff treats. Some of that stuff it works, right? But you send out a dessert, it usually like excites people. People like desserts and they feel bad ghosting you when you've sent them a physical gift. It also, guys, like a lot of times they actually have a trust concern. So think about it this way. We all get these like Nigerian Prince emails or whatever, right? Or extended car warranty phone calls. Have any of them ever sent you a physical gift? No, of course not, because it'd be too expensive in their marketing line items. Now, our margins are so high with our average deals being anywhere between 15 and 50K. You can spend $40 on a bouquet of flowers. We have a business 1-800-Flowers account that we send to people just so we pay the extra $20 a month because we send enough bouquets of flowers that it's actually worth it for us. And I think we get free delivery or something. So send physical gifts. It'll make you stand out. Make sure those gifts have a clear call to action. Call to action is a marketing term of like, do this thing. So, hey, please call me back. I've heard of people who send pizzas, which is crazy, but it is the fastest way to get people a delivery because you can find a local pizza place, have it delivered within an hour. Again, wild. I tried it once, did not hit, but I've heard other people having good success with it, especially in the messy title world. So again, a little funny. But if you send physical gifts to people, you have a higher level of trust because you spent some real money with them, right? So to recap, we got proactive, good sales process. We've got increase your pickup rates. We got re-engagement with text messages, and we have new outreach overall from new phone numbers, physical gifts, that sort of thing, right? That's a quick and dirty rundown. If you comment the word ghosted when we finish up this fun graphic of all of these with all the subpoints, we're going to go ahead and send those out to you. Either myself or Jacob on my team will reach out and get those to you. But with that, guys, I told you this would be a quick 20-minute lesson today. What questions do you guys have? I'm happy to stay on for a couple of minutes and look at some Q&A.